Jake opens his investment account. The balance shows $26,619. He sighs. 3 years, thousands of dollars invested, and that's it? He looks at the screen again. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Becoming wealthy gets harder as your net worth grows. Let's test it. Jake and Sarah are both 25 years old. They each begin with $5,000 invested. They each contribute $500 at the end of every month. And for this experiment, we'll use an illustrative average return of 8% per year, compounded monthly. The exact result is not the point. The behavior is. Jake checks his account constantly. He watches the balance after every contribution. Sarah creates one rule. She only checks her portfolio on her birthday. Not every day, not every time the market moves. Once a year, on her birthday. Then she gets on with her life. At the end of the first year, Jake's balance is around $11,640. It sounds encouraging, but it does not feel life-changing. At year 3, the balance is approximately $26,619. Jake has invested thousands of dollars, watched the market move up and down, and still feels like the result is too small. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. At year 5, Jake's balance reaches approximately $44,188. I thought I'd be further. The effort feels real. The progress feels invisible. At year 4, Jake starts wondering whether simple investing is enough. Maybe individual stocks will get him there faster. Then options, then crypto, then real estate, then dividend stocks, covered calls, artificial intelligence stocks. Each idea can sound reasonable to a financially interested person. Jake is not choosing obviously foolish strategies. He is constantly changing a reasonable plan because he wants a faster result. Every time Jake changes direction, he interrupts the process and gives his money less time to compound. Sarah does not change her plan. On her birthday, she checks her portfolio. She looks at the number. Oh, wow. Then she closes the app and gets on with her life. She did not feel every month of progress. She simply gave the process time to work. The first $100,000 is a giant boulder. Jake pushes it uphill. At first, the boulder barely moves. Early on, Jake is doing most of the pushing. The hill is frustratingly slow. Later, the portfolio starts doing more of the pushing. At $75,000, the slope begins to feel different. At $99,067, Jake is almost there. He pushes again. The balance moves to $100,227. He finally crosses the milestone. Jake smiles. Over the following year, the portfolio grows by roughly $14,000. Jake contributes $6,000. The investments generated the rest. For the first time, Jake isn't doing all the work. That is the moment people talk about when they talk about the first $100,000. Not because $100,000 is a magic finish line, but because it's often the point where patience begins to show up in the numbers. How much longer? I have no idea. I don't check. Jake keeps watching the boulder. The next milestones arrive more quickly. 100,000, 200,000, 350,000, 500,000. The boulder is no longer being pushed uphill in the same way. It is beginning to roll. Not because the rules changed, not because Sarah found a secret investment, because the money had finally become large enough for its own growth to matter. At first, you build the portfolio. Eventually, the portfolio starts doing more of the work. The numbers look simple, but living through them doesn't. Under this exact illustrative model, the balances look approximately like this. Year 1, $11,640. Year 3, $26,619. Year 5, $44,188. Year 8, $76,397. Year 10, $102,571. Year 20, $319,144. Year 30, approximately $800,000. Year 40, approximately $1.87 million. But the numbers are not the emotional story. The emotional story is what Jake feels while those numbers are growing. At $26,619, he feels behind. At $44,188, he wonders whether the effort is worth it. At $76,397, he is close enough to see the hill becoming less steep, but not close enough to feel safe. This is where many people interrupt the process. They change investments, they stop contributing, they move to cash. They chase a faster result. The math wasn't broken. Jake's patience was.
Jake opens his account again. He sees the progress. He sees how long it took. I almost quit. Sarah looks at him. I almost did too. I just kept going. Sarah is not perfect. She does not know the future. She does not know which company will win. She simply created a rule that protected her from checking every emotional moment. Jake kept asking whether the process was working. Sarah gave the process time to answer. The first $100,000 isn't hard because of the money. It's hard because you have to believe before the results do. Most people think the first years are not important because the numbers are small. Those may be the most important years of all. They decide whether you stay long enough to see the numbers change. Every millionaire has one thing in common. They all had a moment when nothing seemed to be happening, and they kept going anyway. The first $100,000 isn't where your money changes. It's where your patience changes. Eventually, the money starts working harder than you do, but only if you stay long enough to let it. So the first $100,000 really is the hardest? Sarah smiles. No, believing you'll get there is. Money Talk with Jake. Behavior is the story. Money keeps the score.